And so the idea is something like this. It's very counterintuitive. So the way to describe it is to say that your brain doesn't react to things in the world. It's not, to us, it feels like our eyes are windows on the world. We see things, we hear things, we react to them. In psychology, we call this stimulus response. So your voice is a stimulus to me. I receive input and then I react to it. And I might react very automatically, system one. But I also might execute some control where I maybe stop myself from saying something or doing something, and more in a more reflective way, execute a different action, right? That's system two. The way the brain works, though, is it's predicting all the time. It's constantly talking to itself, constantly talking to your body, and it's constantly predicting what's going on in the body and what's going on in the world, and making predictions. And the information from your body and from the world really confirm or correct those predictions.
So fundamentally, the thing that the brain does most of the time is just like talking to itself and predicting stuff about the world, not like this dumb thing that just senses and responds. So
the way to think about it is like this. Your brain is trapped in a dark, silent box.
Yeah, that's very romantic of you.
Which is your skull. And the only information that it receives from your body and from the world, right, is through the senses, through the sense organs, your eyes, your ears, and you have sensory data that comes from your body that you're largely unaware of to your brain, which we call interoceptive, as opposed to exteroceptive, which is the world around you. But your brain is receiving sense data continuously, which are the effect of some set of causes. Your brain doesn't know the cause of these sense data. It's only receiving the effects of those causes, which are the data themselves. And so your brain has to solve what philosophers call an inverse inference problem. How do you know, when you only receive the effects of something, how do you know what caused those effects? So when there's a flash of light or a change in air pressure or a tug somewhere in your body, how does your brain know what caused those events so that it knows what to do next to keep you alive and well? And the answer is that your brain has one other source of information available to it, which is your past experience. It can reconstitute in its wiring past experiences, and it can combine those past experiences in novel ways. And so we have lots of names for this in psychology. We call it memory, we call it perceptual inference, we call it simulation. It's also, we call it concepts or conceptual knowledge. We call it prediction. Basically, if we were to stop the world right now, stop time, your brain is in a state and it's representing what it believes is going on in your body and in the world. And it's predicting what will happen next based on past experience, right? Probabilistically, what's most likely to happen. And it begins to prepare your action, and it begins to prepare your experience based. So it's anticipating the sense data it's going to receive. And then when those data come in, they either confirm that prediction and your action executes because the plan's already been made, or there's some sense data that your brain didn't predict that's unexpected, and your brain takes it in. We say encodes it. We have a fancy name for that. We call it learning. Your brain learns, and it updates its storehouse of knowledge, which we call an internal model, and so that you can predict better next time. And it turns out that predicting and correcting is a much more metabolically efficient way to run a system than constantly reacting all the time. Because if you're constantly reacting, it means you can't anticipate in any way what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so the amount of uncertainty that you have to deal with is overwhelming to a nervous system.
Metabolically costly. I like it.
And so what is a reflex? A reflex is when your brain doesn't check against the sense data, that the potential cost to you is so great, maybe because, your life is threatened, that your brain makes the prediction and executes the action without checking.
Yeah, but prediction's still at the core. That's a beautiful vision of the brain.